People in the omniverse. Jennifer
Good
Lacey.
morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm just here slacking off, having fun, drinking
Trying to
coffee.
look really skinny today. Like I'm gonna just make that known. Jesse does not that skinny. That is his video, and he's trying to I don't know what it is, but he's trying to look really,
This
really
is
thin
the New
today.
Year's resolution filter. That's what this is. No, I have no idea. Something with my tech hookups back here. I unplugged it, replugged it, and I lost 20 pounds. I'm like, shit, how
I was like, what is going on?
so awesome. How are you, Miss Lacey?
I am good. I had a little bit of travel this week and got back and excited because it's kind of not a crazy weekend, which I usually have all crazy weekends because of sports and things like that. So yeah, I'm just excited to be here. And this topic is ooh,
Oh
this
man,
is
I'm
such a
I'm
good topic.
excited about this. I went back through the comments on the original post, and I'm like, oh man, there's some good thoughts and questions there.
Good.
And so we're going to be talking about how to cultivate and maintain trust because Jennifer has all the answers. Just so y'all know, Jennifer's the expert on this.
I've learned from failing. Let's go with that.
I love it. Look, oh my goodness, Rachel, what's going on, Rachel?
Rachel's up. This is early for her. Rachel, good
Oh man,
morning.
yes. All right.
It's the
So
topic because I pitched it. She traveled with me this week. And so I was talking to her about what we were going to talk about. And she goes, I mean, I may show up, but you may talk about that V word. I don't like that V word.
Oh, look at that. Lance says, Jesse looking alive again. What's up, baby? Yeah, I've been in Death Valley all week. I was sick. I got a crazy fever. My
Which made you
stomach.
think about what, Jesse?
Huh?
What did
Oh,
it make you think about?
so careful. Heads up, y'all. This is how bad. When you have those fevers that you have dreams that are more like hallucinations, that's what I had. So I woke up whenever it was, and in my head, I was thinking these words were stuck in my head: rabbit skinned poop tubes. I have no idea what the hell that is, but it was in my head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what the hell was I smoking? But I am back in the land of the living, Lance. Thank you. We got Buddy Brumley says hashtag.
Yes.
Thank you. And then Steve Martin coming in from the Connecticut. And then the baller Sarah Ganella says, good morning, ready for all the trust fall exercise.
Nice.
So I was watching Titanic last night just to kind of trust me, right?
How did that end?
The damn thing sunk, duh. Oh, look, Rachel said, yep, despite the V word, she's excited to hear about this. Folks, get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about vulnerability. Come on, man. It's early. Jeez. So, folks, if you're out there, lurkers, we love you. The lovely lurkers out there appreciate you showing up and supporting. We're going to talk about trust today. And there's a few formalities that we want to go through before.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you want some love, Jennifer is going to tell you how to get some love with the No BS tribe.
Yeah. So number one, if you're out there and you've been on the show before and you're just kind of chilling, you don't have to do anything, but we'd love to know you're there. So if you can just type where you're coming from so that we know you're out there and you're listening, that would be awesome. If this is the first time you've ever clicked the button and jumped onto this crazy show and don't know what it's about, but it looks interesting, we're asking you if you will go in and put a blue heart in the comments. You don't have to do anything else. And that just lets us know this is your first time. And it's because it's important, not just for us, but all of our No BS tribe that jumps in and loves and supports and encourages people will see that it's your first time, and they will connect with you, and they will go and they will search you out and make sure that they're out there encouraging you in the stuff that you're doing as well. So that is something that our tribe does very, very well.
Yes, absolutely. And also there may be some discombobulation. You may not be seeing all the comments. Your comments may not hit our end. And that's like a Android, iPhone, desktop thing. We don't know how to fix that. And so I still love you.
Yep.
Jen still loves you.
Yes.
We just may not be able to see your comments on the feed. And maybe if you're new here, if you're a blue heart like Mr. Matt
Blue heart, blue heart.
Alley,
Good morning.
yeah, if you're sharing and we don't get to bring your thing up here on screen, you can count on me going back afterwards to connect with you and show appreciation for the time you spent with us. But they don't all make it through the feed. I don't know what it is, but we love you very,
Yes.
very much.
And we're on Blue. So 2 things, Blue Heart. So those of you that are on, make sure you go and connect with Matt and let him know, let him feel all the no BS love that we have. And then 2, like we're also on like YouTube and other stuff. So if you want your stuff to come in, but you're not seeing it and it's LinkedIn or something, go to YouTube. We're streaming there as well. And those sometimes come in differently. So there's some options if you want to try and make.
Yeah. No, that's true. Sarah actually turned us on to that cheat code. On YouTube, most of the feed, like the comments from YouTube, they'll come in without a problem. So, wherever you're at, come on in. And if not, chill out, drink your coffee, because we're going to have some fun.
Yes.
We got Miss Tanya. What's going on, sister?
Good morning.
San Antonio. And so, we alluded to a little question we were going to ask today.
Yes. So, because you and I have a lot of conversations around trust, whether it's because of the things we do at our jobs, also the people around us and the places we show up at and things, our life, stuff like that. And maybe trust that was there, trust that was broken, trust that we had to figure out how to get back, all that fun stuff. But we also talked about like how we show up. And you and I talk about that a lot and how we show up. And there are kind of 2 sides to this coin when it comes to trust. There are people that their mindset is just, I'm not going to trust you until you've earned my trust. And then there's the other side of the coin that is you and I that are like, we trust that you're a good person and we trust that you're going to do the right thing. You may burn us. And there's nothing we can do about that. But if we show up and we give the space and just believe that the trust is there, a lot of amazing fruit has come from those kind of decisions. Is that kind of what we were going?
So that's the question, y'all out there in the Omniverse, no BS tribe. Are you team earn trust? Like if you really adamantly feel and believe that people have to earn your trust, let us know. And if your team just give it away, drop it in the comments.
Yes, we want to know.
Yeah. Team earn it. Team, no judgment.
No.
Yeah. And you and I had a conversation about this yesterday morning. And I can remember a period, not like a long period in my life where I was absolutely, you're gonna earn this shit, like straight up. I ain't giving you nothing.
Yeah.
But we'd like to know where people are, and of course, we're gonna talk through the why and all that wonderfulness.
And we can learn from those things too. Like we can, like you and I think we 100% believe we lead with, like Lance says, we lead with trust. But that doesn't mean we haven't been burned. That doesn't mean that we want to go in and just bare our soul everywhere we go so that we can get hurt. Like even though we give it freely, we still kind of, we're smart about it.
100%. Oh, look at this. We got LinkedIn users saying, hello, guys, coming in from your feed. What's going on? Our superstar, Jared Wilson. Ain't he going to be speaking on something?
Yes. He's all over the place. They just keep trickling in.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. And congratulations, Jared. That's going to be pretty awesome. Oh, I know what it is. It's the lean construction last time.
Yes, the conference.
Yes. Congratulations, Jared. Knock them dead, my brother. All right, so Sarah is saying she is on team give trust.
Not surprised.
Yeah. For clarity, I'm also on I'm just going to give you trust.
Me too.
Straight up, right out of the gate. You got all of it, and then you get to lose it as you choose.
Yes.
Steve Martin is saying, I like this. TRUST. If you're having issues, pretty sure you are in the middle of it. It's not me. That's a good one. That's our
Always give the
TV
chief
right there.
marketeer the little twist.
We got LinkedIn user coming in, says, give basic respect. Oh, that's an interesting take. Grow to trust. I think, okay. Oh, it's Maya. So Maya said, it's Maya. Not sure why I'm not popping up. Maya, I know that it's a security thing on your profile as to why it doesn't let StreamYard show your profile. On the other, like on the LinkedIn feed, people can see your glamorous profile pic, and so you'll be all right. That's a StreamYard thing for sure. I know that. So Sarah says, I will say I do trust my instinct, so I give, and I also listen and watch.
We talked about that too, also yesterday.
The listeners, the lurkers. Is that what the lurkers are doing? I like it. Thank you, Sarah. So I don't know. Where should we start, Jen? What do you think?
Well,
Y'all
I want to. Well, you and I had some good conversations yesterday, so I kind of want to start, kind of let people hear maybe some of our back of house conversations. So when we were talking about that, you alluded to it earlier in the feed, is you didn't used to be that person,
right?
So can you maybe talk about the world you were living in why maybe you didn't give trust, and then how you've made that transition? Because I'm sure there's people out there that are maybe in the middle of like struggling with that, but also like what did that look like?
Yeah, so like I'm going to answer that, and I want to be clear that this is not an indictment or an accusation of other people. Yes. It's the way I lived life. It's the way I was doing life. So during the period of time in my life where I was adamant that you're going to earn my respect and you're going to earn my trust, I ain't giving you that stuff. I was highly manipulative, right? Like the skills and gifts that I've been blessed with in terms of trusting and influencing people and serving people, I use them in a selfish way. So I was always scheming. Like if you spent time with me between 1995 and we'll just say 2018, you can trust that I was only interacting with you because I wanted to get something out of you, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of broad and maybe a little stinky, but that's how it was. There were times where I was less selfish, but it didn't make sense to me for me to give you trust because, Rachel, close your ears, muffin ears, because there's vulnerability, right? I would become vulnerable if I just trusted you just because I was at risk. And I was terrified of losing whatever I had, which really wasn't much. And so I didn't give it. Like, you had to earn it. And it was a moving goalpost, right? Like, okay, now you got to do more. Now you got to do more. The reality was, though, it was really me, because I was projecting my thinking and method of operation on other people, right? So they had to perpetually be earning my trust and earning my respect because of the way I functioned. I assumed everybody else was scheming and manipulating and calculated and manipulative and all of that garbage. And so I had to do a lot of internal work. And again, over that same period of time, mostly with state counseling, I started mandatory state counseling. Yeah, I started getting clear on, like, why am I wasting all that energy? Like, if I just stop being so manipulative, life gets simpler all of a sudden. And so then it was like little by little, and now it's like full bore, 100% trust. Now, I'll also add that it wasn't just because I was like this maniacal schemer, because I was most of the time, but a lot of it was because I was this really hurt, fragile creature, right? Like, I got hurt. And so it was a defense mechanism for me to make sure people are always actively working to earn my trust. because people that I had trusted before had hurt me. They had disappointed me. They had let me down. They had abandoned me, these types of things. And so it was a jumbled up mess, but that's where that came from.
Okay, so you said a couple key words that I want you to. So, Jesse, can you tell us the parallel between trust and truth?
Ooh, oh, I might have to call a friend. Jeez. Oh, look here. Amanda says yes to moving the goalpost, right? Yeah. I'm assuming, Amanda, you just gave me permission to always move the goalpost. So thank you.
That is not true.
uh, so the parallel between trust and, what'd you say, truth?
Truth.
Ah,
Honesty.
so when okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So for me, when I started getting more honest, it kind of helped me become more trusting.
Okay.
Right? Like, because here's the other thing, we talked about this. When I was in my maniacal scheming mind, the people I surrounded myself with were similar. Right? Like, we did the same things. And so I had my accomplices that made it okay. And actually, we compare notes. Oh yeah, you did that. Well, look what I did. Look what I got over on, right?
Mhm.
And so it's this weird thing where in that, we'll say, community, um, the things that we celebrated as wins were actually losses in the bigger scheme of things. And when I say losses, is I was lowering my bar, my credibility bar. I was consistently lowering it to win this other game. And that game was finite, right? It was, you either win or you lose, and it's best that you lose and I win. Like, that's just the way it was. When I started getting more honest, like, and when I say honest, there was this thing that I still do, and you've experienced it, Adam, several people out there. My feedback is pretty damn honest.
Mhm.
And it stings sometimes, right? Sometimes it hurts. I've always been able to do that. So that, like, I could juke you and make you think, right? Like, man, that guy is honest. But my intentions were not honest.
Mhm.
And so when I started getting more honest and reconciling the truth of my intentions and my motivations, all of a sudden, the trust, like the capacity to trust, started to grow.
Ooh. Well, and I love that you just then tied it to feedback, because that's really where we started. Like, we
Yes.
started with, we've been talking about feedback for the last couple times we've done live streams, and this trust idea and factor came in because, like you said, you're really good at providing direct feedback. You are. You absolutely are, and that's a skill that we've worked on, we've experienced. But Jesse, if I don't trust you, why does that matter?
Yes. Yes. That's that you're exactly right. That's where it came from, is feedback. But wait a minute, like, yes, like, the conceptually we all get it. Somebody had mentioned, but you kind of almost have to earn that spot, right? So for me, the way I frame it is to become, like, my goal when I'm serving clients, when I'm serving people, is to become a trusted resource.
Yes.
Right. I want to be the well that you're going to go to because for specific things, not for everything, because you can count on me to deliver on whatever it is that you're looking for, or not just what you're looking for, because I don't deliver on everything. So there are some things you still got to earn. Don't think I'm a little floozy anymore. I don't do that either. But as it relates to feedback, and maybe let's morph that a little bit into courageous, trusting, deep, rich relationships.
Mhm.
That trust is critical, right? It will, the observations, the critiques, the advice, the suggestions, the support become more actionable, more real, and more precise to your aspirations and dreams. because you've shared that, right? Why?
Yeah.
Because the trust was cultivated and maintained. Oh, baby.
So just you, and again, I'm pulling from experience here, but like, why would people not trust?
Oh, well, okay. Let's park that because we got
Okay,
a lot.
because there's lots of good comments. I want you to bring them up. Yes, yes, yes.
So Amanda says yes to the moving the goalpost. She said that earlier, and then she came back. No, 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 no. Like she's not giving me permission, but she's done it too, right? I think we've all done that. I think in like the romantic space is where it gets like we get extra muddy and extra scary.
Yes.
Um, uh, but Jared Wilson says give trust. As people work with me, they gain additional trust. So we talked about that, right? Like degrees of trust, which we might get into that. Break it, you have to step back and review. 10-4. Matt says it depends. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I've gone through some super terrible things, so I have to be more cautious nowadays. There are actually demographics I trust less because of my past experiences. Yeah. Oh man, this is good.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, right.
adding your content into this conversation.
And he'd say he trusts people overall, but he keeps his guard up because of past experiences. And I think, thank you for that, Matt, because there's no doubt in my mind that you ain't alone, right? There's totally. Steve Martin says, gotta give it to earn it. Yep, you can only control the giving. Gangsta, you can only control the giving. Give well and you'll earn well, 100%. Miss Megan, good morning. Man, all you
know.
We got a question for you later on today. Yeah. Anyways, give it as default, but I'm far less generous if it's broken. Man, we keep going to this broken trusting. What are they talking about, Jen? No one's ever broken my trust. Mr. Gable, the uncommon communicator, says, team, give it. I always give a sampling of trust to people. A sampling. I like that. Like, would you like a little piece, please?
Would you like a taste?
To people, and it's up to them to add or detract from the. Now we're back into emotional bank account. Yep. Man, these y'all are gonna take it deep. I knew that. Mr. Robert, good morning, Robert. How you doing? He says, "Hey guys, good morning. Buenos días. Bienvenidos a No BS con Jenny Jess." Amanda says, "Trauma, past experiences, 100%." Okay. I don't know if you saw a trend there, Jen, but I feel like there was a lot of people were touching on this broken trust thing. Mm-hmm. What is that? Like, I've never had that.
First of all, liar. Both sides giving and taking. And so it goes into my question, and you and I can talk about it.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, that's okay. But it kind of ties into this broken trust thing. Like, why do people not give trust? Like when you walk into a place, like your team give it. Like I know that I'm team give it. What would keep us from giving it to someone? Like we talk about past experiences and trauma and having to protect, and I mean those are a lot of the themes in the comments. What would keep someone from not giving it?
Well, Amanda says trauma, past experiences, mm-hmm. right? And I think Matt also touched on that, right? Like he got burned in the past. And so now there's different boundaries, parameters, guards, walls, whatever we want to call them, checkpoints. Yeah, I mean, Jared and my buddy James also said like, hey, there's this, it's kind of like level up, right? If you're playing a video game and you beat the boss, like, okay, you get a little bit more trust, beat the next boss, a little bit more trust, a little bit more trust. So I'm seeing some of that, but I'm stuck on the question you asked me. I forgot about it. Like, I can't.
That's okay. So here's where it's coming from is why would I not give trust? And I'm going to say, based on just my interactions with people that maybe are struggling with it, because there's something internal in them that maybe they're not very proud of, or something that they've done and they know that someone else could be capable of those things. Does that help a little bit?
That helps
Okay.
Well, I don't, it may help. It brings up a big thing. So this is where it's taking my brain.
Okay.
And this may make some people squirm a little bit.
We like squirming.
I have seen I didn't have this problem, and I probably shouldn't even admit it. What I've witnessed, I was talking about back in the day when I was rolling with my crew, and we were like super manipulative and whatever. I noticed that some of them, and they were all men, uh, the way they behaved with the people that of whom's trust they violated was like a doormat. They would not like their significant other or family members, or there's always somebody would just take total and complete advantage of them and treat them like dirt, and they would allow it. And it blew my mind because like that ain't happening. um, my observation was this: it was because of the guilt that they had compiled from all of the dirt that they were doing. The other interesting thing, but we're not going to talk about that. The other interesting thing is I didn't have that guilt. Like I did it, I won, whatever. They had a guilt from violating trust and doing nefarious things, right? Like running out there, running the gambit of deviosities and whatever else they were doing against the people that they cared about. Maybe not against them, but eroding the trust that they had earned, being overdrawn on that trust bank account. They had so much guilt from it that they would allow certain people in their life take full advantage of them, right? And I don't know that I can. There was this weird batch of guilt that I carried, that for some reason it was like I had to hold on to it to continue accomplishing and achieving and these sorts of things, because for me it was like the joy that I stole from people. Anyways, so I had all of this emotional baggage from doing devious things that blocked me from trusting and connecting with people. So yes, there was, the violations and the traumas and the things that people did to break my trust, but that was compounded with all of the less than trustworthy things that I had done, knowing like it was this cloud that just made it harder to understand why the hell anybody would trust. I don't know. Did I answer your question, or did I just
it kind of did. No, it kind of did. It gave context to my next, comment, and maybe just some more my thoughts on this idea is the way you talked about it. It's almost because of decisions that we've made, choices that we've made. Sometimes it gives us permission, or it encourages us to use trust maybe in not the right way. And so for me, what that means is if I am holding guilt, or I feel like I've made bad decisions, and I know that wasn't nice. I wasn't kind to someone else, and I lied, or I cheated, whatever those things are. Those are not good things. And so one, it's like I want to make sure that no one knows those things, because then I'm not going to look like a good person. And so for trust, it's almost like we use trust as this barrier where it's around us. And so I will give this to you conditionally, or I will give this to you, it's accusatory almost, on like I can use it as a weapon. I can use it as something, and like that, again, only because I've been in places where both sides of that, and then now looking back, I'm just like that is a whole thing that people do.
Yeah, we use it like as a bargaining chip, right?
Yes,
Right, like
yes.
I'll give you a little bit more. Yeah, the effects of breaking trust and operating in a less than trustworthy manner hopefully what's coming across is a heavy burden to carry, right?
Yes.
Because I'm an expert liar. Like, I'm a damn good liar, for real, for real. I don't, I do my best not to lie. But when I do, shoot, you ain't gonna know, because I know the number one rule. The
Jesse,
number
you're not
one,
supposed to tell that. They're not, that's a secret.
that's a secret. I can't say it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say it. So the number one rule is this: if you're gonna lie, you're gonna violate somebody's trust, and you want to make sure you're never gonna get caught, you got to take that lie to the grave. You can't share it like, hey, I trust you. Like,
Let
this
me
is
tell you what
between
happened.
you and me. Like, in confidence, and like these kinds of qualifiers. Negative. You take that freaking lie to the grave. I know that's kind of sinister. The problem with, like, it works. The problem with that is that you are carrying that load for life.
Yes.
And not just the lie, the fear of getting caught, the fear of somebody finding out, the negative impact you had on other people's lives because you did it. You carry all of that. And for me, I shouldn't say you, I was condemned to carrying that load for the rest of my life. And so I had to let it out. And when I let it out, guess what? The weight of the world was off of my shoulders. So anyways, I think we pretty much made it clear that I'm a liar, and that I'm really good at breaking trust. Now people are like, holy hell, like, this dude, like, unfollow. I'm gonna get, what's the cool thing now? Cancel call. I'm gonna get canceled. I think we want to, based on kind of the comments out there, Megan says it can be a huge challenge when we have chosen to continue in a trusting relationship with someone who has broken your trust. The rebuilding is key and can feel impossible. And so I think we did a good job of, like, okay, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Amanda says, this dude is just
Yes.
thank you,
That's the
Amanda.
point of this. Is like, we're all human, and this is some real stuff, real talk right here.
But I think I feel like we should dive into this. Like, I mean, the name of this live stream is how to build and maintain trust, or cultivate trust. And so let's talk about this. When your trust has been violated, or when you violated, rather, let's do it this way. When you have violated somebody else's trust, how do you go about rebuilding that? How do you go about mending the damage that was caused by the violation? So I'm asking you, No BS Tribe, Omniverse, and I'm also asking you, Jen.
I figured that much. So for me, which it's weird that it took a while for me to be able to get to a place to do these things. And this is my answer for you. Is number one, I have to acknowledge that it happened. Number two, I have to apologize. And I don't have to apologize just to be able to get to the next conversation. I have to apologize because I screwed up. And I have to say it, and I have to mean it, and I have to want to do better. If you did it and you lost and you broke something, and you were like Jesse in the olden days going, well, not my problem, whatever, then you know what? This is not your conversation. Because then you have to be honest and vulnerable and be willing. I'm telling you, these are going to be hard conversations. These are going to hurt. You are going to feel like crap. Like you are not a good person, because we're not good people when we break people's trust because they gave us something, and they gave us this trust and whatever it was, and we took advantage of it. And sometimes it's not 100% deceitful, but it doesn't matter. If we broke trust, somebody told us something in confidence, they didn't really say it was in confidence, we went and shared it, and it really came back and hurt that person. Okay, we can't go, well, you didn't tell me not to share it. Like, I mean, like we got to own that if like, yes, but we can't dictate that they can't feel what they feel. And I think I have this conversation with my daughters is that if they feel a certain way, or if I feel a certain way, or if I'm not okay with something, like no one else can tell me you can't feel that way. Like you don't have the right to do that for another human being.
Right.
And so like for me, it's we've got to own it. You've got to acknowledge it. You've got to want to do better. You've got to want to mend it. If you don't care, then there's nothing else to do. But if you want to mend it, like you're going to have to you're going to have to take a step back, and you're going to have to, kind of, I'm not saying grovel, but you're going to have to humble yourself a little bit. And you're going to have to just realize that, you know what, you got a road ahead of you, and they get to make the decision. It's not like, well, I've done all these things for you, so you should trust me now. It's not up to you anymore. When you break it, you don't get to make the decision when it's not broken anymore. That's big, because I think people think I've done all these things. I've done checked all the boxes. So I don't know why they don't trust me now. I don't know why they don't believe that I'm not going to go and do and make bad choices. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't get to make that decision.
Oh, yeah,
okay, Jesse, what you got?
I'm going to say two things that you said that are like, folks, if y'all missed it, you need to write that thing down. One is, you don't get to decide when they should trust you again. Period. Like, that is some real truth, because you violated a precious gift. You don't get to decide. The other part is, and that's going to take us to this idea of forgiveness.
Oh,
that's a good one. The other thing that you said is, you're going to have to humble yourself, right? Like, it's to earn it back, to mend it. I shouldn't say earn it back, to mend it, to repair it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to eat some humble pie. Mm-hmm. Like, straight up, because it's going to take work. So we got some beautiful comments in here.
Let's do it.
Sarah says, so folks, like, pay attention to this, because I think there's a framework here that you can use. Goes to the 7 elements of trust: braving boundaries. I can say no and accept yours. B, boundaries, right? R, reliability. Do what you say. A, accountability. Own up to mistakes. V, vault. Keep secrets and confidential info to self. I, integrity. Practice your values, not just profess your values. Practice what you post, fool. Don't just be posting how awesome you are. Practice that. And non-judgment. Can share without fear of judgment. Yeah. Generosity. G for generosity. Give me benefit of the doubt and seek understanding first. I love that. I read it clunky, but y'all can go back in the comments. Sarah, thank you for sharing that. Megan says, consistency over time to my betrayal therapist. Well, I'll say this. I think having a betrayal therapist is like way better than having a betrayal coach. But if anybody needs one, I'm joking. Yeah. Consistency over time. Sarah says, accountability, own up to your mistakes. Let's see what else we got.
That's a big one. Like, we need like that. Like, before you can ever move forward to anything, you've got to own that you broke somebody's trust. Like, you've got to own that a decision you made, a choice you made, caused someone else to not be able to see you in the same light. Like, that's hard, but you got to do it if you ever want to move past that.
So yes, 100%. The way I earn it back or mend it is, and I learned this in 12-step program. And this must have been on like the collegiate level, because it took me freaking for the doctorate level, because it took me forever to like do it. They call it making amends. That's not the same as apologizing, right? And I think a lot of us think, oh, Jen, I lied to you. Hey, sorry for lying to you. And those lies are gone. Like, that's not how it works. making amends is me, and it was part of my program to help me get sober and do life differently. I had to go back to everybody. Well, not everybody, because in some cases it'll do more damage to them to try to make amends. And I just got to carry that load. But to a lot of people, I was able to go back and own it and say, look, I did this. I failed. I disappointed. I lied. Whatever it was. Like, and there was a lot of them. I had a list, pages and pages. And so, look, I know I did this to you, or against you, or whatever it is. What can I do to make it right? It's not me saying, and I did this, and here's some brownies and a t-shirt, because I know you like t-shirts. No, it was, Jen, I did this, and what can I do to make it right?
Okay, so I have an example that I want to tie back to what you just said. And so go a little bit, I'm going to get there. Let me get there. So when I was pregnant, my daughter came 7 weeks early. And when contractions, everything else. So she came super early, super tiny. And when she came out, the doctor said to me, Jennifer, there are just some babies that grow better on the outside than the inside.
Ooh.
And it was one of those that he goes, your body knows it because something's not right. And so it automatically puts you into labor. And when you and I were talking about this topic, you said, like, it's all in your head. But the moment that you voiced it and it got outside of your head, how that changed, like you just said, the amends, like, I did these things. You said it to another human being. So now it's not just some weight you're carrying and that you've got to like make sure nobody catches you, but you voiced it to the person that you hurt. Like, that's the first step, but that's such a big step, Jesse, because I mean, it hits all the things of accountability and ownership, but it's like saying to another human being, this is what I did. Like, that for me goes to vulnerability. That goes to a point of you are like bearing your soul, and like they could come and crush you.
Yeah, 100%. And guess what? I earned it.
Yes.
I created the conditions for that terrible outcome because I violated something.
Yep.
And so, yeah, coming up and saying, hey, I did this. What do I need to do to make it right? And I had to be prepared for people to say, eat shit and die. That's what you need to do.
Oh, you
right?
have to. Yes. Because you do that doesn't mean all of a sudden like you fixed it.
Right. And that's it. That's what I got to live with. You know what the beautiful thing is? Hopefully I won't. Anyways, most of the people, and I say most of the people because a lot of them, most of the people said, Jesse, watching you live the way you're living now, just keep doing that. And I was like, oh my God, after all that I did, after all that I violated, you appreciate me and you just want to see me do good. Freaking holy hell, right? So, I mean, that's a lot of the reason of why I'm crazy the way I am, because I need to serve. And that's what part of making amends to all the people that I let down, abandoned, and violated is for me to continue serving. Like, that's it. There were some others that they had a, the freaking eternal list. They kept moving the goalpost. And I got to do it because it helps me, like Sarah says, oh man, like remove the burden, right? It's so important. I think that first sentence is just the most ultimate sentence there. What Jesse says is important. Which is, the burden for them was too much and you had to carry that load. Seeking forgiveness, oh, there's that word again, isn't about relieving the burden for you if you are the violator. Yes, ma'am. It's about how are we better serving them. And then Yesenia says, good morning, tribe. What's up, Yesenia?
Well, I want to, can I make two comments to what you just said? So you talked about, let me think, get my brain right, about the responses when you shared it.
Yep.
Okay. And so I think there's two things that happen when you get to that point, Jesse. When we are at a place where we are trying to make amends, you're gonna get a response like you did, like they see hope. They
Yes.
see potential. They see something that maybe that person, and I know those people in your life that knew what you could do, but you didn't know yet. And then
Yep.
they see that you're living that. But we also have to like be prepared for those people that are like, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
That's great, Jesse. That's all great, but don't expect me to do that. Don't expect me to be where you are because they're not, and like we can't make them be there.
Nope.
And so I think a big piece of trust, and I think sometimes we think it's a give and take.
Oh yeah.
And I think we forget that, like when we're going in, Jesse going in, I'm going in, and I'm owning it, and I'm trying to make amends. You at no point can be in a place expecting them to just reciprocate it.
No.
Like if that is your if that is your goal, if that is your mission, is I'm going to go do this because they hurt me too. They they did things that were not good, and I'm going to do this because I know I did some bad things, but they did too. And if your motivation is to go in to get them to also own it, be humble, whatever, like it's not the right, that's not the right approach. That's not the right way to do it. And it will not end well.
No. And so, yeah, I can't, if I'm working to make amends and atone for all my sins,
Mm-hmm.
I have to do that with zero expectation. Otherwise, it doesn't count. It's something else, right? It's an exchange. It's a transactional deal. We ain't making deals here. I am atoning for my violations and I'm making amends. This is what I did. What can I do to make it right? And whatever they say, I've got to figure it out.
And if it's nothing, guess what? You
Thank
gotta
you.
figure it out.
Thank you so much for nothing. All right. So, oh God, here we go.
Okay, come on.
So James, confession from James Gable on the internet. James says, I'm having a moment of enlightenment this morning. The sampling of trust I give out might be the reason that the word and practice of vulnerability is so difficult for me. It seems I don't give as much trust as I think I do.
We like moments of enlightenment.
Yeah. The what's he call it? The UC moment of enlightenment. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there is absolute vulnerability in giving trust. Like I recognize the way I roll, giving 100% trust right out of the gate, it makes me vulnerable. Right? It makes me vulnerable to be taken advantage of. It makes me vulnerable to look like a fool, to waste resources, to waste energy. 100%. There is vulnerability in it. And guess what? My life is pretty damn amazing. Have I been taken advantage of? Yes. Have I been made to look a fool? Nowhere near as much as I do it all by myself. Right? Like, whatever. Like, I just dust that off and let's keep rolling. Let's keep serving because life is just way more meaningful.
Well, how many people in the comments just like how many said earn it? Not very many.
No,
We're surrounded with people that like that's how they show up, that's how they give. They get burned, we get burned. But if we're around a group of people that give it, like what exponentially is happening in those spaces because we didn't have to go through all these levels of this and I don't know about this. Like when you give it and you're able to do it, like you and I've been able to do some amazing things because of that.
Yeah. You made me think of the 16 chambers of some kung fu movie, right? Like you gotta, like, man, like, come on, man, like we could do life different. So for me, I had to learn how to do life differently. And what did that mean? Specifically, stop trying to do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I had to let people in. I didn't have to let people in. I had to trust.
Mm-hmm.
Was it vulnerable? Absolutely, all the time, every time. And so what? It's been way better. So like Sarah really wants us to get on this forgiveness train, but I think the app is causing her to do some typos. She says even more important, more important, even more important point from Jesse. We can't expect forgiveness. You have to know where your heart is, and that is what matters.
Yep.
Yes. And so maintaining and cultivating, I think the easy this let me answer that. The maintain trust is show up, consistent, say do ratio, right? Do what you say, say what I my say do ratio, if you look at it in a 24-hour period, it's way out of whack. But if you look at it in a 6-week period, it's pretty level. I overcommit and I say I'm going to do a lot of things and I can't do as much as I want to do. So it can get done. It just takes longer than I expected. Anyways, but like building trust is me being consistent, right? Jen, how many times have you gotten feedback about how consistent you are? You consistently show up a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah, once or twice. And so people learn to trust you, to trust what the experience with you is going to be like. If I'm a big fat liar, people can trust that I'm going to be a liar, right? And so whatever your consistent, your standard operating procedure is, you're going to help people trust you to be that way. If you're a grouch and you're hypersensitive and you overreact to stupid, silly things, people are going to trust you to be that way. So if you see people walking on eggshells and maybe like avoiding you, maybe it's you. So I think that's easy, right? Like, how do you build trust, be consistent? If the people around you are demonstrating behaviors that are contrary to how you want to be perceived or how you think you're showing up, it's probably because of the way you're showing up. So you have to make some adjustments there. Cultivating trust, same thing. We have like having courageous I made a post today about no bobbleheads, right? And Alex made a little thing, which I think is awesome, a little penguin. So speaking your mind, having contentious conversations, challenging each other's ideas, it's uncomfortable, but that's how you maintain trust, right? Like if I'm a jellyfish, what I mean by jellyfish is no backbone, and I don't say what I'm thinking in the meeting or in the session, and I wait to go piss and moan about it in the break room, I am demonstrating untrustworthy behavior. It's okay for you to agree or to disagree and dissent. It's important that you do in the room.
Yep. In the conversation.
In the conversation. If you're waiting till later, like, man, you're playing t-ball. Like if you want to play the big leagues, you gotta get your knee skin, get your elbow skin, right? Like that's what it is. Now, this trust thing, that another important thing around it, for me to be able to trust people, especially when I was working through like the making amends part of my sobriety, I had to forgive. So what do you think about that, Jen? I'm just gonna
that's a whole nother show. I feel like we'll touch on it right now. I feel like forgiveness is a whole nother conversation, because like you and I have had conversations where you're like, that person's dead to me. Like what you said,
yep.
That's your, like, those are people that whatever they've done, and we can define that later, and then I'm just like, I'm one of those people that too, when people break my trust, they're never going to get back exactly where they were. Like I just say that, like, if you've broken my trust for whatever reason, and I've broken people's trust too. So I will own this is not a perfect scenario, but when you have broken my trust and it was deceitful and it was intentional, then you will never get back to the original place. That does not mean I will cut you out of my life. That means that I am now aware of what's going on. That doesn't mean people can't make amends. That and that may be harsh, but it is the way that I protect me. And that means I give freely, Jesse. And you know that I will show up and I will trust anybody that's they're gonna do the right thing. People are gonna be good. And if for whatever reason someone does something to break that trust, I will not cut them out of my life, but they will absolutely never be back in that same place.
Mm.
And and like you and I've talked about this, like what, like, okay, how do you earn people's back trust? Earn the trust back? Like, what does that spectrum look like on, how long does it take to get it back, and forgiveness and all that? Like, that's a whole nother Pandora's box, I feel, because different people, different things, family versus, relationships versus coworkers. There's a lot of things there that it comes back down to what you just said is we've got to be able to give direct feedback. And feedback is the theme, because if we can be direct in our family relationships, we can be direct in our work relationships, our romantic relationships. Like, it may not feel good, it may be uncomfortable, it may be hard. But if it's done right then, all those ripples that happen from a yucky conversation then start impacting so many other things. Then you've got to go and fix all the other things too. And so it's like they're harsh conversations sometimes. And no one likes hard conversations. No one likes to go in and make somebody feel bad or have to own that I suck and I'm not a good person and I need to do better. But like, if we have those direct conversations and not have them behind the curtain and things like that, like, you're at least taking a step towards that forgiveness, towards that doing better. But I can't look at you, Jesse, and have a conversation with you and be real about it, and then turn right back around and make not so nice choices and not so nice decisions, or have conversations with people that kind of go against what I just said. Like, we've got to live this life everywhere. We can't just live it out in the light and then be able to go and back in the back of house and be not doing the right things. And for me, that's where the forgiveness piece goes. Because when you can see how people are living, you said you show up this way. You show up this way. I've got to do these things consistently. That I have to live by that, and I will believe that you will be doing consistent things in front of me and not in front of me. And if I see you in front of me doing not nice things, you're doing those things somewhere else too.
100%. And you get to tell me, hey, fool,
Yes.
what the hell? Like, is this the deal? Like, if this is for real, then you got to make a decision. I want to give some color to those stinky conversations. Many times in my life, I've had friends, colleagues, and family point out, like, why do you do this set of things with these people, or why do you like spend so much time with them, or whatever that is, projects, teams, work, all of that, and not me.
Yes.
And the comfortable thing to say is, well, you're really busy, you have a lot going on, right? And that'll get you out of a lot of those conversations, but it's bullshit. So what do I say? Well, the reason I don't invite you or haven't reached out to you is because I need somebody that can be committed through the dark, scary, ambiguous times, somebody that has the endurance to like stick to it. And based on what I've seen from you, you peter out in the first 3 weeks. And that's not what I need.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm saying it because it's the truth that I've witnessed. Like, let's talk about it. And usually it's like, it's two responses, like, screw you, or tell me, like, please tell me more, because I didn't know that was the case. Like, okay, I'll bring out examples. And which takes us to one of the earlier comments of like, I watch. Absolutely. Let me get scary here. I study the hell out of people. And there's indicators and flags that I'm looking for that inform my decision. Like, ooh, if there's ever a collaboration opportunity, I want to do it with that person, because it's clear to me that they're down to do the work, and we can mesh and we can drive. Or, oh, no, that they're cool, but we're not going to collaborate on an idea or a project because they don't know how to work. Right. And so yes, I'm studying and watching, but back to the situation that you were mentioning is telling people the truth, man. Like it is hard, but it's easier short-term gain. It's easier to white lie and pat them on the butt and make them feel good. Long-term gain, tell them the freaking truth, because you can help them get better if they want to. What do you think, Jen?
Oh, I don't like these thoughts in my head, because I have to own some things that happen just through our live streams. So you and I, when we decided to do this, made a decision, like, just, we're either going to show up and we're going to be real and raw, or there's no reason for us to do this. And so some of these things people aren't going to like, they're going to disagree with, but it's also going to cause you and I to have to bear some things that we maybe not have put those out in the public before. And we've consistently shown up that way. And so, not so much a question, but to think about this is, I can own that we have done that 100% on this show. Maybe not the first show, but maybe every show after that. But it's also out there and it's public.
Yes.
And if someone comes to you, kind of like your example, and they call you on it and say, that's all great, and I see what you're doing, and I believe that is you, but you don't show up like that for me.
Ooh, yes.
Like, and that happened to me because I have a lot of things that are very public, and I also have 2 teenage daughters.
Woo.
And those teenage daughters are on social media. They see a lot of things pop up, and when the people closest to you, the people that matter to you and why you show up and do everything in your life, call you out, you get to make a choice. You get to have, because I'm busy, because this, because that. You can come up with all the reasons why you are a different person here or here. And in that moment, I had to make a decision on, am I a different person? And why am I making these choices? And is that fair to everybody else? And I was not showing up the same at home as I was outside of the house. But who does this benefit the most? The people that we love and care about, that are so important to us. And like when we get called out on that, I could have got defensive. I could have been like, I get to make these choices, or I got to own, I got to do better. And I've got to be vulnerable, and I've got to own it. And I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm probably not the only person, but I apologize to my kids a lot. And a lot of people don't think that parents should have to do that. Mm-hmm. I do it. I'm not saying every day, but I screw up and I do things that I know I should have done better. And I apologize to my kids, and we talk through what does that look like. And if I don't change behaviors, they're just going to stop believing anything I say. And I need them to believe in me if no one else believes in me. And so, like, those are things that people need to think about. Like, yes, all the things we're talking about right now, Jesse, like, people get to see us live this. But we also go home, and we also have families, and everyone on the show has families and people that they deal with and interact with all the time. Are you showing up that way there too?
Mm. Yeah. And like, kudos to them for telling you.
Oh yeah.
Because did you even know that?
I don't think consciously I was thinking about the separation at all.
Yeah. And I know, because I've been able to watch it and we've had many conversations about it, that it has set you on a path of like introspection and self-discovery that has had profound outcomes in your decision-making and just understanding of all the power that you have in the universe.
Yes.
Because they had the courage to tell you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all cute, fine and good, all that crap you're doing on YouTube, but that ain't what you do here at home. Oh,
yeah. And I mean, and when we're really good at like, yes, but
right.
Blah, blah, blah. We have all these reasons why we can't be that person. And if I can justify that I can be one person outside of my house and a different person inside of my house, I'm the problem. I'm just going to say the problem. Yes, it's me.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we got 11 minutes left.
Okay.
Yesenia says, being authentic, whether in front or away from an audience, is what we should strive for. And thank you, sister. Mm-hmm. I love that she says strive for. Because I think, like in Jesse Land, I've convinced myself that I do that all the time. I don't. There's times where I'm wishy-washy, and I do put on my bobblehead spring every now and then, or jellyfish, and not say what really would have been meaningful and powerful. I can also say that those times are like this many compared to most of the time. But the idea is strive, right? Progress over perfection, work in that direction. If part of this conversation, well, I'm just gonna pick on James Gable. Like, feels like you had an awakening, James.
Mhm.
Like, it's easy to condemn yourself because you have this realization of like, oh, this is why vulnerability is weird for me, because I also throw out little pieces of trust. And there's a connection there. Like, give yourself grace. You understand something that's critically important. And so I'm using James as an example, but I also want the rest of the folks in the Omniverse and the No BS tribe out there to, like, if something in this conversation has stirred something within you for driving introspection, it's going to take practice. So strive to improve, strive to serve better, and celebrate that rather than judging yourself and beating yourself up for all the time that you haven't done that. Right. And so, like, back to the making amends and healing relationships and violations of trust that I created in the past. One of the most important things I had to do that I didn't understand what was blocking me from this trust was I had to forgive. And Jen, can you guess where that forgiveness had to go first?
I had to forgive yourself, Jesse.
Yep.
Oh, yes. And I was already going there, and then you said it. So you have a quote that I want you to say in a minute that we talked about. But that forgiveness, like and we'll get into that probably on another show, but if we're carrying all those things, like every decision we make, every choice we make, every interaction with another person, those things play into them. If we're holding on to them, if we're carrying them.
Yeah.
And again, we're making decisions and choices based on this guilt or this whatever it is that we're holding on to. We don't even know because we haven't had the conversation on if the other person even remembers who we are.
Exactly. What are you talking about? Like,
right.
Oh, nothing. We're good.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to forgive myself. And so, to the quote, which is relevant to forgiving myself and forgiving others. And I heard it from somebody else. It isn't me. And I'm going to jack it up. But the quote, the idea is this: forgiveness is surrendering my right to get even. What do you think about that?
Yes, and it's we hold on to things so that we can pull it out of our back pocket when it works for us, when we can, hey, remember this and do this, and you did this, so I can justify this. Like all of those things. If you don't want to own it, you don't have to own it. I know it's real, and I know all of you are in your mind thinking those things that just in case. Because I've been in conversations where I'm like, that was 7 years ago. Why are we even having this conversation? It's because they needed to have that to be able to bring it out in case they needed to justify something.
Yeah.
And like, we have got to be able to let go of that permission to get even, or that permission to be able to go, this is why this happened, because you did this. Like,
Yeah.
come on already.
Yep. It's that surrendering the right to get even, or another way to think about it, surrendering the right to punish them for the violation.
Yes.
Right. And
it's only hurting us.
It's only hurting us. And so, okay, but how does that make sense to forgiving myself? Well, what's easier? Is it easier for me to punish myself than it is for me to go make amends? Hell yes, it's easier for me to punish myself. But I had to forgive myself, and I had to get courageous and go out and say, I did this. What can I do to make it right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, like Adam, other people say, "Gee, y'all bringing the heat," because there's either a glitch in the matrix because I feel like our comments are down, or people are like, "What, son?" Like people are
It's a
having
lot.
some
It's a lot, and this is. I know based on what this conversation does for me and just all the things in my head right now that this is triggering good decisions, bad decisions, things I need to do next, things I need to really be thinking about. Like if that is any a glimmer of what that's happening in their minds right now, like there's a lot.
good, good. So we got 5 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up, but we have an important question because
Yes.
we have the second reciprocal propulsion retreat scheduled for May of
Yes.
2024.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And it's going to be in California.
We just don't know where yet.
We just don't know where. And so, what we would like from the
Yes.
Omniverse, from the tribe, where should we have this reciprocal propulsion retreat in California? Drop in the comments your suggestions, ideas, wishes. It's still in the planning phases, but it is going to be happening in May. And we're just looking for recommendations. We got a lot of beautiful, amazing people in the California area. And I guess right now the real commitment that we can make is that it's going to be in California in May. And we would like your observations as to like where's the best spot to have that at. So drop the location, like city, like let's keep it kind of broad. What city?
Before you do that, like if people are on and they don't even know what this weekend is, can you give them an overview?
I don't know. You know me, I like to let people linger. No, it's so the reciprocal propulsion retreat, it has been designed. We established it for people that are out there leading change, driving initiatives, and that kind of leaves you in a situation where you don't have a lot of peers that you can reach out to, that you can confide in. And so you end up feeling like you're on an island, and you end up thinking that you suck, but it's not really you suck. It's that change sucks. And so the idea is, if you're in that type of situation, you're a change agent, you're somebody driving an initiative, you're a department of one, or you're part of a big national department, but there's only one of you per business unit. This type of, I mean, it's not super exclusive, but if you're living that life, right? Like nobody appreciates what the hell you do and you're working your ass off. Anyways, the idea is so that we can come together and really get to like recharge our batteries in understanding that, oh, this is a human experience. This isn't me. And we also get deep on building connections and relationships amongst the people that show up for this experience. So if you don't like vulnerability, this is the thing you need to sign up for.
Yes, James Gable.
This will absolutely help you with your vulnerability game. Anyhow, let us know what part of California you think would be the best spot to have that. So we can take that into account. And we've got some comments about the after. Like Sarah's already setting the tone. We got the after party, y'all, right after. Oh, shit. Jen, I'm going to need you to take over because I got to post the links everywhere.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sarah's like, definitely something to talk about on the after show. Developing better relationships after trust was broken.
Oh, I like that. But can you pull up Steve Martin's comment, and then I'll use that as we close out real quick. His last one.
Steve Martin, this one?
That one. Well, of course that one, but then the next one.
This one.
Yes. Okay. And then you go post and stuff.
Thank you.
Steve Martin writes, the right to speak. Sometimes it's better to shut up and forgive. And we talk a lot about when we're receiving feedback, when we're giving feedback, and sometimes the best response is thank you. We talk a lot about that and how we want to make sure that we're hearing the person that's speaking to us, but we're also like not trying to justify or make excuses and things like that. And putting it in the context of trust and forgiveness. Steve, I love this because when people come to you, and whether it's one of us or Jesse or you going, someone's coming to you and they're trying to be sincere and they're apologizing and they're trying to make amends. In that moment, it is not the time to bring up everything else. It is not the time to go, yeah, but, or, or all these things. You get the choice. But the best thing to do if someone is making that effort so that you don't, derail it, is to receive it and to not like try to have something to come back with. Like sometimes that's all they just need to get it out. And there may be another follow-up conversation. The trust was broken and now you're building it back. Like those are things we can talk about. But when someone comes to you for that, like on the receiving end of it, like allow yourself to receive it and then just like forgive. And you can forgive, and that doesn't mean you have to go and hang out with them every Friday night. Like the forgiveness is waiting on you. And so when you're able to forgive, you're allowing that to be off your chest so that you can then go and I live this great life. So Jesse, you're good? You want to wrap your comment up?
What? One minute, please.
So I want to, again, several of you are new or we haven't seen you before. And so Jesse is posting links that you can go and you can click on. You can also go to the No BS with Jen and Jess page on LinkedIn, and there's a link there for you to join our after party. So what that is an audio event only. You don't have to have your hair done. You can be in your curlers, but it's an audio event only. So you click on it, you join the room, and you can come in and be a part of the stage and the conversations where you get to speak and we get to kind of just sit back and facilitate, or you can come in and just listen to the conversation. You don't even have to be on the stage talking, but it's kind of, usually it takes this conversation about 3 levels up. So
yes. Thank you, Jen, for that. And I guess I want to give a shout out. Thank you, Matt says Big Sur area, Monterey.
You talked about that.
My buddy Lance, bro, that was a freaking beautiful place. Megan saying Sacramento. Yesenia, thank you, Yesenia. I'm surprised you're not running like another marathon or 10K or something. You're always out there killing it. So I guess I want to leave a thought for the team replay. The folks that are watching this after the live. Appreciate y'all being here. Drop your comments in there. The support that you've given us is amazing and continues to inform the experience that we're all having together. And I'd love for y'all to come to the after party so that we can hear your perspective and hear Sarah. Like Sarah's going to stir the pot, and I love it. So looking forward to spending more time with all of y'all. And if anybody can show me on the map where Hartford, Connecticut, California is.
Yes, Steve. Yes. Push the button.
Yeah. So at the after party, y'all be good.